US President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping will hold that virtual summit in the hours ahead. It will be Monday night in Washington, Tuesday morning in Beijing. The leaders have twice spoken on the phone, most recently a 90-minute conversation back in September, but this will be their first meeting since Mr. Biden took office in a face-to-face sense, even if virtually, and of course it comes with US-China relations at a low point. CNN's David Culver explains how we got here.
The leaders of the world's reigning and emerging superpowers heading into a much-anticipated virtual summit as bilateral ties largely remain in deep freeze.
The summit is a preliminary sign that the relationship between the US and China is getting back on a more normal track.
U.S.-China relations have been growing more tense since 2018, when former President Trump launched his trade war over Beijing's alleged unfair practices, slapping massive tariffs on Chinese goods. The downward spiral worsened amid the COVID-19 pandemic, as Washington accused China of covering up its mishandling of the virus that would quickly bring the world to its knees.
President Biden was
a transition to the Biden administration did little to ease tensions. An early meeting between senior U.S. and Chinese officials marred by fiery exchanges. Recently, though, signs of progress. A high-profile Chinese tech executive detained on U.S. criminal charges in Canada was allowed to return to China. And just last week, both countries coming together in a joint effort to fight climate change. The heated rhetoric, at times, softening a bit.
We welcome the competition. We're not looking for conflict.
In a letter published last week, President Xi said China is willing to enhance exchanges and cooperation across the board with the U.S.
What both sides need is a stabilization of the relationship, which would allow both powers to peacefully coexist in the foreseeable future.
But the two sides still at odds over a wide range of thorny issues, from mounting military tensions across the Taiwan Strait and in the South China Sea, to tech and cybersecurity, to human rights. But likely topping the agenda, experts say, is what plunged U.S.-China relations to a historic low to begin with. An agreement on trade might just lead to a thaw in ties between the world's two biggest economies. David Culver, CNN, Beijing.